I think at some point we'll boycott it. Yeah, like that's gonna be the only way to kind of like fight for our rights.
On a Wednesday afternoon in Rome, the world #1 walked into a press room and told the entire sport it does not pay her enough. She threatened a boycott. She said the players would have to fight for what they deserve. The room listened. The cameras rolled. And a few hundred meters away, something happened that made every single word of that press conference more complicated than she ever intended.
Definitely when you see the number and you see the amount that the player is receiving, and I feel like the show is on us. I feel like without us there wouldn't be a tournament and it wouldn't be that entertainment. So, like definitely we deserve to be paid more.
It was her 28th birthday. And on that same birthday, in that same complex, a 20-year-old ranked 42nd in the world walked onto a marble stadium with 3,720 seats, and not one of those seats was empty. That is not a figure of speech. That is the verified attendance record for May 6, 2026 at the Foro Italico. Aryna Sabalenka, four-time Grand Slam champion, top seed in Rome, delivered one of the most commercially loaded statements the WTA had heard in years. And simultaneously, Alex Eala, carrying no seed, no title history at this tournament, and no promotional campaign behind her, sold out the most photographed court in tennis without anyone asking her to.
We girls, we easily can get together and go for it. Some of the things I feel like it's really unfair to the players. I think at some point it's gonna get to this.
Here is the quote Sabalenka put on the record. "We girls, we can easily get together and go for it. Some of the things I feel like are really unfair to the players. I think at some point it is going to get to this." She meant a boycott. She meant prize money. She meant the gap between what women's tennis generates and what the players actually take home. Those are real issues. Nobody serious disputes that. But what she did not know, what nobody in that press room knew, was that while she was saying those words, 3,720 people were chanting a different name in a sold-out stadium a short walk away. And that contrast is the story Rome did not see coming. Before we go any further, think about this question and hold on to it. What actually fills a stadium in tennis? Is it ranking? Is it Grand Slam titles? Is it marketing spend? Keep that in your head. Because by the time this video ends, the answer is going to be sitting right in front of you, and it is not the answer most people in this sport would give you. 9 days before Rome, Alex Eala walked off a clay court in Madrid on the wrong end of a brutal scoreline. Elise Mertens, a hardened, experienced top 20 clay court specialist, handed her a 2-6, 1-6 defeat in round 2. Not close. Not competitive. The kind of loss that follows a player into the next news cycle and sometimes the one after that. Most 20-year-olds take that result and go quiet for a while. They recover. They reset. They come back when the noise dies down. Eala went to Rome. And when she arrived, her first-round draw was Magdalena Frech, a former top 25 player with wins over top 10 opponents on clay. Not a soft opener. Not a gift from the draw. The test. What happened between that Madrid exit and that Rome court is exactly the reason the Stadio Nicola Petronelli ran out of tickets before the match even started. To understand why Wednesday hit so differently, you need to see what was happening on both sides of the Foro Italico grounds at the same time. On the main side, the tournament's own official communications had built the Day 4 center court card around 3 of the biggest names in the sport, Sabalenka, Goff, and Berrettini, working together on a single session to sell 10,500 seats. 3 champions. 1 card. All the promotional muscle the Italian Open had. And still, that same week, Italian fans were going public on social media, furious about last-minute price spikes on those premium sessions. One comment captured online read simply, "They have no shame whatsoever." Tickets for the headliner session were still appearing on resale platforms hours before play began. That is the flagship product. That is the main attraction. On the other side of those same grounds, on a court ringed by marble statues of athletes, the most photographed venue in all of tennis, every seat was already taken. Not for a seeded player. Not for a Grand Slam champion. For Alex Eala. The Philippine flag was visible from every section of that stadium. The chants, "Alex, Alex," bounced off those marble figures in a way that court had probably never been designed to carry. A veteran ABS-CBN broadcaster, one of the most respected names in Filipino sports journalism, was physically inside those stands on May 6. Her report that evening came down to 4 words: Pinoy pride in Italia. When a journalist with that track record and that many years behind her abandons every analytical instinct for a forward headline, the scene in front of her has done something worth paying attention to. Now here is the part that should stop every tournament director in this sport cold. Your most heavily promoted session, headlined by the world number 1, needed 3 champion-level names stacked on a single card to move tickets, and still triggered a public backlash over pricing. An unseeded 20-year-old with no campaign behind her filled a sold-out stadium on presence alone. No spend, no strategy, no promotional push beyond the fact that she showed up and people wanted to watch her. That math does not lie. It does not need interpretation. It is the market speaking. And Rome was not the first time the market said this. Madrid told the same story just weeks earlier. Courtside seats for Eala sessions reportedly moved at premium prices with no official effort behind them. 2 consecutive WTA 1000 events. 2 separate cities. 2 sold-out or near sold-out atmospheres. Both driven entirely by organic demand from a player who does not even carry a seed. First Madrid, then Rome. That is not a coincidence. That is a pattern. And patterns in sport are the only thing that matter more than rankings. So what actually happened on that court? Because the attendance is only the setup. She took the first set 6-love. Clinical. Dominant. The kind of opening set that makes the crowd stop settling and start paying attention before they have even found their seats properly. Then Freck adjusted. She is a real clay court competitor and she knows how to disrupt rhythm. She broke Eala's momentum in the second set and leveled it 3-6. The match was alive again. And here is the detail that matters most. The crowd did not go quiet when she fell behind. They got louder. Third set, Eala went down a break. In a different year, in a different building with a different crowd, that is where the match and the story both end. Instead, she broke back. She found her level again. She served it out 6-4. Her first ever victory at the Italian Open, verified, recorded, completed right there in front of 3,720 people who had paid whatever the price to be in that building. When she turned to face the crowd at the end, she did not pump her fist. She did not shout. She did not perform. She offered a quiet wave. And the crowd answered everything she did not say. Now put yourself in the position of a tournament director watching that attendance data land on the same afternoon. Your premium session required 3 of the biggest names in the sport to sell. An unseeded number 42 filled a sold-out house alone. Then ask yourself the honest question: who is actually generating the entertainment in this sport right now? Because that question has an answer, and it does not line up cleanly with the rankings list. This is where Sabalenka's press conference words become something more than a labor dispute. She said, "Without us, there would be no tournament and no entertainment." She said she deserves to be paid more. She said a boycott is coming if things do not change. The prize money gap between the men's and women's game is real. Her argument is not wrong. But timing changes everything. Those words landed on the same afternoon that an unseeded player was outselling the headliner session without a single promotional dollar working in her favor. The entertainment did not need a boycott to exist on Wednesday. It was already sold out. Nobody manufactured it. Nobody priced it into existence. It walked onto a court, won a match from a breakdown in the third set, and went home. Sabalenka gave this story its sharpest line without meaning to. 4 Grand Slam titles. World number 1 for the better part of 3 years. When she says the words "without us there is no entertainment," she is speaking from a position of genuine institutional authority. Now hold those words next to a sold-out stadium built entirely around a player ranked 42nd who had never won a match in Rome before Wednesday. The authority in the quote is completely real. The irony in its timing is total and inescapable. A veteran broadcaster who has covered Philippine sports through decades of historic moments was standing inside those stands and could only find 4 words to describe what she was watching. That is what this moment earned. What happened at Patronelli on May 6 matters far beyond a first-round result at a WTA 1000. The Italian Open is facing a question it did not plan for. Local fans are pushing back against premium pricing on sessions headlined by the sport's biggest names. The tournament's own marketing engine is stacking 3 superstars just to fill one center court card. And at the exact same time, an unseeded Filipino player is building organic, diaspora-driven demand that no algorithm designed and no marketing budget manufactured. Tournament directors from Rome to Roland Garros, which opens on May 24th, are watching exactly how this plays out. The French Open draws in 2 weeks. When it does, the question of whether Eala makes a deep run at a clay court Grand Slam, and what that would mean for crowds at Philippe Chatrier or Lenglen, stops being a thought experiment and becomes something real. Philippine sports media is already building travel packages around her schedule. The diaspora across Europe is already tracking her half of the bracket. But before Paris, there is something more immediate. Round 2 in Rome is a rematch. Wang Xinyu, the player who ended Eala's 2025 Rome campaign in the first round, is waiting on the other side of the draw. Eala has spoken publicly about that loss. She remembers it, which means everything about Wednesday: the comeback from a breakdown in the third, the sold-out crowd, the first Rome win, was the prologue, not the destination. After the match, when she was asked what carried her through that third-set breakdown, she did not reach for anything dramatic. Her answer was precise and quiet. She was just very happy she could come back after going down a break, find confidence in her game, and play aggressive again. No embellishment. No performance. No boycott talk. 9 days after a straight-set loss in Madrid, down a break in the third, in front of 3,720 people who needed her to hold, she played aggressive again. That is the whole answer. The marble statues ringing Patronelli have stood in that spot since the 1930s. Nearly a century of clay court history has played out in front of them. On May 6, 2026, they watched a 20-year-old from the Philippines, ranked 42nd, fill every seat in the building and complete a comeback win 9 days removed from a Madrid bagel line. The same afternoon, the world number 1, for Grand Slams, a full press corps, the most marketed player in the sport, sat in a press room and told the tennis world it needs to pay her more. That is not a criticism of her argument. That is a portrait of 2 completely different relationships between a player and an audience. One demands the room. The other earns it. Sabalenka said without players like her, there is no entertainment. On Wednesday in Rome, the entertainment was already sold out. The rematch with Wang Xinyu is next. If Eala wins and center court becomes a real possibility in round 3, here is the question worth dropping in the comments right now. Can Alex Eala fill 10,500 seats at the Foro Italico faster than the world number 1 can? And what happens to the ticket market the day she does? Drop your answer below. The French Open draw is 2 weeks away. The conversation is about to get much louder. Subscribe and be part of it before it does.